Found out that my dad who neglected me isn't my biological dad. I'm 17 my mom is 37 and my dad is 40. My parents were young when they got married. My mother is a stay-at-home mom and works part-time while my dad is a software developer. I am the oldest of 4 siblings. I have been treated like the black sheep in the family since I can remember. Birthdays never had any, just a cupcake from my mom and no presents. I wasn't allowed to have friends over. Christmas was never something I looked for. At most I would get some socks while I had to look at the presents my dad, aunts, uncles and grandparents gave my siblings. New bikes, latest fashion clothes, phones, game consoles, games, you name it, they got it. The same was for their birthdays, big parties. Their friends and family would show up and shower them with gifts. I was never allowed on family trips and vacations. I was left behind to stay with grandparents who were strict on everything I did, and sometimes they would just call on someone else to pick me up while I was supposed to stay with them. My mom got a part-time job when I was 13, and with that she would sometimes ask if we could just spend the day together while dad and my siblings were out. Even though it was just to get ice cream, when I was at home I mostly stayed in my room and studied. It didn't matter how well I did in school or sports, my dad showed no interest. I was able to get some money by tutoring. That, along with I managed to get a part-time job at food court and a grocery store, meant I spent less time at home. Over the years my mental health got worse and worse because of maintaining good grades, doing well at spots, working 2 part-time jobs. My mom helped me find a therapist who has helped a lot. Yesterday I came home from work late, tired and just wanted to go to bed. I opened the door to hear my mom arguing with my dad and aunt about me in the living room. I could hear my aunt saying that I should be grateful, more grateful towards my dad. Then they saw me in the doorway and stopped. My mom and dad looked like they had seen a ghost, while my aunt announced, "And in comes the bastard." I was shocked to hear her say that. I know she did not like me and mostly ignored me when we were in the same room, but I got angry and just asked her to repeat what she had said. My dad quickly stopped her. But no, I wanted to know why I should be grateful about. So I asked what was going on. No one said anything for a while. So I asked again, and be grateful about what? Being ignored, neglected, abandoned while my siblings are spoiled and play happy family with dad. As soon as I said dad, my aunt just shouted that I was not his son. I was shocked by what she said and I asked my dad if it was true. He looked at me and just said, "I am sorry." I didn't know what to say. I looked at my mom and she said nothing. I left to my room and just started crying. Later my mom found me on the floor shaking and crying. She helped me up and stayed with me until I fell asleep. I woke up this morning and called in sick. I barely left my room today. I just feel like everything I have done to make the man I call dad proud or just to acknowledge me has been a waste of life. I wish that I had known years ago. Update. After I put up this post I had to get out of the house. I went to be alone for a while and the thoughts of ending things became too hard to ignore. So I called up my best friend and he picked me up. We went for a drive and I told him what had happened yesterday. He just listened while I just cried and told him everything. He knew my father was like this, but not the extended family. I have never seen him so angry before. He had to pull over so he could calm down. I showed him the post and he was silent for a while. After a few minutes he told me that no matter what I was his best friend, and he asked it would be okay if he could maybe he could talk to his parents about me staying at his place for some time. I said yes. He dropped me off home and we got out of the car. We talked for a bit. Before he left he gave me a hug and just said whenever I felt alone that I should give him a call. When I entered the house I ignored everyone. First I would like to thank everyone for your comments. Though I have not responded, I read through all of them. Not only have they been helpful towards to see things differently, but to do the best to stay strong until I will movie out. You are right, this man is not my dad/father and I will no longer see him like that anymore. I will try and get some answers on why I am being abused, why after all these years no one told me anything, and the most important for me right now, who is my real bio-father? Is he alive? Does he know I exist? And to clarify one thing, I have no idea who anyone on my mother's side of the family are, and therefore there's no contact with them. My 18th birthday is in the end of the summer, and I will be moving out that day or even sooner if I have the opportunity to do so. Update 2. So a lot has happened in these few days and I am conflicted about many things right now, but I am hopeful that I can start to heal immediately. Also sorry for the long post. On Thursday before I left for work in the grocery store, my father, whom I will refer as K, called out to me and I responded by saying yes, his first name, and he looked confused because I have always called him dad before. After a bit of silence I asked what? Quite bluntly. He didn't respond and told me it was nothing, so I went to catch the bus. When I got home late in the evening my mom wanted to know why I called K by his first name. I told her he never treated me as anything closely as a son, so why should I call him dad anymore? She had no answer and she told me he was hurt by it. I wanted to scream when she said that. Yesterday I had an appointment with my therapist and I cannot put it into words how much she has helped me over the years, and later my best friend called me to let me know that I could stay with them if I wanted. So this morning when I woke up my mom was already awake and making breakfast. I asked her if we could talk alone today and it was important. She agreed to talk after breakfast because Kay had to go to work shortly after. After Kay left she told my siblings to not enter the kitchen for a while. I am paraphrasing a bit because it was a long conversation. We sat down and I found it hard to get the words out at first, but I told my mom that I can't get over the fact that for all these years how I have been treated and neglected by Kay and his side of the family. And she watched it happen and I need to know why. At first she tried to dodge the question and gave the same answer as always. But I didn't give in and told her that this was important to me, and again she tried to dodge it. So I told her that I can't do this anymore. So I was going to pack up some of my stuff and move out. And not until she was ready to tell me the things I needed to hear we would not be on speaking terms. She started to tear up and just told me how sorry she was and kept on saying I am so sorry over and over. It hurt me in that moment to see my mom cry, and I tried my hardest to keep my emotions in, and I asked her again why. After some time, when she calmed down, she told me what happened. When she was 20 and in university, she had a boyfriend whom she had been with for 3 years. They shared an apartment along with his best friend. They were out clubbing when they had an argument because she wanted to stay but her boyfriend wanted to go home and he left. Both her and the best friend were really drunk and she cheated on her boyfriend with his best friend in the club. The next day she woke up and realized what she had done. So after a few days she and his best friend confessed about the affair and her boyfriend broke up with her. Her ex contacted her parents and he told them what she had done. Her parents called her furious and told her she was not welcome back home and took away her financial support. So she had to move out. She lost a lot of friends and had nowhere to stay. She had to live in her car for some time. When she realized she was pregnant, she didn't know what to do. She went back to the apartment to find out her ex and his friend were no longer live there. She tried calling and texting them, but they didn't pick up the phone or answered any of her messages. She got a job at a cafe house and there she met Kay. He was a regular customer and they got to know each other. Kay asked her out, and even though she told him she was pregnant, he didn't care at the time. Kay's parents were not happy about the idea that their son was dating a pregnant woman and a cheater and threatened cut him out of their lives. Kay got scared and was going to break up with my mom, but she begged him not to and promised to be the perfect wife and have his kids. They made plans to get married soon after I was born. Kay never showed any interest in me when I was born, but my mom lived with the hope that one day he would. After hearing all of that, I didn't know what to say for a while. After thinking for a moment, I asked if she had at any point tried to contact my possible biofather. She said no, and the timeline would place her affair partner to most likely be my biofather, but she can't be 100% sure. I asked her if she ever tried to reconnect with her side of the family. She tried to contact them when she was about to get married, but her parents, siblings, aunts and uncles didn't want to see her. So she gave up. I asked her why Kay was hurt by me calling him his first name. She told me he has been seeing a therapist for the last 2 years because he has been suffering from depression and guilt. It took me by surprise. She told me that it started when I was 15.